Good morning and welcome to the Business Standard Morning Show. I am Devarghe Sanyal. It's the 24th of August 2023 and here are the questions we'll be answering today. After Chandrayaan-3, what next for India's space dreams? Is Ola's Bhavish right about the end of ICE scooters? Are equity markets pricing in rupee weakness? And what is the Bharat NCAP rating? India is on the moon. On Wednesday evening, it made history by becoming the first country to land near the south pole of the moon, and fourth to make a soft landing on Earth's only natural satellite. In our first segment, Bhashwa Kumar and I trace the trajectory of India's space mission and tell you where it is heading to. A tiny silver object hurtling through the vast expanse of space, shining bright in the reflected light of our nearest star. And rocketing towards this tiny heavenly object, the moon, India's Chandrayaan-3 carried 1 billion hopes and dreams. At 6:04 p.m. on Wednesday, August 23, it made a safe and soft landing. And like a dutiful child assuring its concerned parent, it texted home saying, "India, I reached my destination and you too." The message brought tears to many eyes at the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, which had waited for the moment for nearly 4 years since that time when Chandrayaan-2 had almost made it. With the Vikram lander's successful landing on the far side of the moon, India on Wednesday became the first country in the world to achieve the feat. The lander, named after the father of India's space mission, Vikram Sarabhai, set its feet on the moon, an event witnessed live by millions across the globe. The Chandrayaan-3 mission had a total of 7 payloads at launch, 6 of which are ISRO's, while 1 is NASA's. 4 of these are aboard the Vikram lander, 2 on Pragyan rover, and 1 on the propulsion module that carried the craft from the Earth into the moon's orbit. Within minutes of making a soft landing, Vikram sent out a rover, Pragyan, that will now explore the lunar surface. Among Pragyan's 2 payloads is the Alpha Particle X-ray Spectrometer, or APXS, which will determine the elements present on the moon's surface at the landing site. It will help detect the major elements on the surface of the moon, including aluminium, calcium, iron, magnesium, yttrium, and zirconium. The second payload is the Laser-Induced Breakdown Spectroscope, or LIBS. This payload will calculate the abundance in which these elements are present. The success of Chandrayaan-3 has also put the spotlight on several other ambitious projects that are in the pipeline at ISRO. Some of them include a planned coronagraphy spacecraft to study the sun's atmosphere, putting humans in space, and to start a space tourism industry by the year 2030. Besides these, ISRO is also developing reusable rockets and a reusable space launch system. In fact, the organization has also finalized the architecture for its ambitious Next Generation Launch Vehicle, or NGLV project.
So, as far as vehicle is concerned, now we have a robust vehicle called Mar-3, and we are working on improving the vehicle again to carry more and more payload. Now our capacity is 4 tons. 4 tons is not sufficient. In par with the global standard, we should at least go to 6, 8 or 10 tons of the capacity. That work is parallelly going on. That is a different area. And with respect to satellite technologies and remote sensing technologies and ground station capabilities of tracking the systems, etc., we have almost come to a kind of matured level.
The missions will require an even greater focus on research and development by the ISRO. On this front, experts say that Chandrayaan-3's success, along with the recently released space policy, could really help ISRO.
See, Government of India released the India Space Policy 2023 a couple of months ago. Given the success of Chandrayaan, uh, I really see an acceleration happening in terms of execution of all the items that are mentioned in the Space Policy 2023. We would see a lot more interested entrepreneurs and existing private sector enterprises wanting to play a role in the space sector, which would allow ISRO, who's now the new defined role as per the space policy, is to focus primarily on research development of new space technologies and applications, as well as expanding the human understanding of outer space. And the commercial part of it getting accelerated through the private sector players in country.
Some of these projects will take a long time to reach fruition. However, the Chandrayaan mission, as successful as it is, has both identified areas of concern and more short-term spin-off benefits.
Depending on the data what we are going to gather from the moon surface experiments, we will be, our people who are the scientists who are working on it will definitely plan various other systems and instruments where, more investigations are possible. So now we should get a vehicle. We have to develop a bigger vehicle in which, we will be able to carry more payload. More payload in the sense, if you are able to put more propellant, the maneuvering will be easy and we can put a direct route.
As the Vikram lander set foot on the lunar surface, it has opened up fantastic long-term opportunities for scientific development, not just in space, but also in other allied and non-allied sectors.
There are about three major purposes. One is, if you are going to have rare elements like helium or helium-3, that whether it is possible to get it out from there. Helium-3 is going to be one of the most useful material for the element for the energy source, nuclear energy source. Second thing is whether we are able to make the moon as a standby station for the journey, long journey to other planets. And for technology proving, moon is happen to be the nearest satellite where we can do proving of the many subsystems.
Experts point out that while the Chandrayaan-3's moon landing is a major milestone, it's only the beginning of the journey. The mission opens up new avenues not just for ISRO or the development of the space sector in India, but for innovations in other scientific fields as well. Electric two-wheeler maker Ola Electric 2 is shooting for the moon. Its CEO Bhavish recently told Business Standard that legacy two-wheeler companies should shut down the production of internal combustion engine scooters. So, is Bhavish right in predicting the end of the ice age for scooters? Ayush Mishra finds out.
In a direct challenge to legacy two-wheeler companies in India, Bhavish Aggarwal, founder and chief executive of Ola Electric, has asked to shut down internal combustion engine or ICE scooter production in India. Instead, invest in making meaningful and quality two-wheelers, Aggarwal said. With a share of over 37% of the electric two-wheeler market in July 2023, Ola is already the number one player in the space. Speaking to Business Standard, Aggarwal had said, Ola had done its bid to end the ice age. Hear how Dilip Chinoy responds to Aggarwal's challenge to legacy two-wheeler maker.
If you look at the statement that he made in the context that he made, it's important to understand that currently the electric vehicle two-wheelers as a percentage of the Indian two-wheeler market is only 6%, right? And even if you were to talk about it growing at 10% every year or 30% every year, the coexistence of ICE plus electric vehicles will continue for some period of time. But looking at the decarbonization plans for India and looking at the net zero impact, right? and when you're looking at Prime Minister Modi's Life initiative, then people will start looking at greener modes of transportation and other modes of transportation. And the prices of electric two-wheelers has to fall. The prices of battery have to fall.
The electric two-wheeler segment has been steadily gaining ground in the overall two-wheeler market in India. However, its journey has not been without challenges. Reductions in subsidies, particularly under the faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles or FAME scheme, have impacted demand.
Customer segment is already emerging who are more environmentally conscious and prefer electric vehicles, right? So all these segments will grow and potentially at the expense of the ICE market. We've also seen that despite the reduction in subsidies over the last 1 or 2 months on the FAME scheme, the large two-wheeler OEMs have actually still seen a growth in their monthly numbers. So in short, people are now adopting the technology, adopting the platform, and are convinced of the use case.
The charging infrastructure remains a challenge, even though the government is focusing on commissioning a new charging network in 68 cities across 25 states of the country. The government effort to promote electric vehicles also indicates the evolving landscape of two-wheeler market in India. Experts believe till the time cost of regulatory compliance for ICE two-wheelers exceed their return on investment, both ICE and electric two-wheelers will coexist.
We are getting into stringent emission regulations, right? So at some given point of time, if the cost of meeting those stringent emission regulations exceeds the kind of return on investment that a two-wheeler owner wants to see, and electric vehicles make much more sense, because currently, electric vehicles don't have emission regulations. There might be some other regulations that come up. So till then, both these things will coexist.
The electric two-wheelers' acceleration to catch up with ICE counterpart will depend on advancements in battery technology, expansion of charging network, and regulatory frameworks. Electric scooters' inherent benefits, such as zero tailpipe emissions and lower maintenance cost, give them a competitive edge. Legacy scooters, on the other hand, will continue to be relevant in places with limited charging infrastructure like rural areas. So what is going to be the industry mix in the medium term? How will they compete with each other? Let's understand from Puneet Gupta of S&P Global Mobility.
Obviously, electrification is inevitable. Obviously, India is going to follow the path of electrification. But I think it is also like, that ICE is also going to go parallel, so ICE is not dead completely, so it has still a long way to go. We believe that 2030 to 2040 will be the decade of electrification in India, because by that time the ecosystem would be ready. So by 2035, we feel that two-wheelers would be having a penetration of around 55%. Electric vehicles.
Bhavish Agarwal's assertion about the end of ICE scooters is an indicator of the changing tides in the Indian two-wheeler industry. While ICE two-wheelers may not vanish from Indian streets overnight, their prominence is likely to wane as the electric revolution gains momentum.
Two-wheeler exports have dipped by over 17% in FY23. The reason? It was due to a rise in global inflation and the weakening of economies and currencies in key export markets. Indian currency too breached the 83 mark recently after over 10 months. The culprits remain rising US bond yields and the dollar. While the rupee is expected to remain weak in the face of current global headwinds, is D Street factoring this in? Harshita Singh finds out in our next report.
The growing risk of sentiment across global markets sent the Indian rupee tumbling to a record closing low of 83.15 versus the dollar last week, just shy of its all-time low of 83.29 touched in October last year. The recent weakness in the local currency comes amid rising bets of more rate hikes ahead, which has sent the US dollar to a 2-month high. Analysts expect the rupee to remain weak in the near term, while they believe that the Dalal Street is yet to factor in this weakness and its related risks.
From a near-term perspective, we are having a view of depreciating bias on INR, mainly because of the rising crude prices, the volatile inflation we have, and obviously because of these two factors, the monetary policy decisions which are taken by various central banks in the world. But I think that the near-term move, which is depreciating bias, is not fully priced in by Indian markets right now.
Meanwhile, US Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's speech at Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday is now eyed that could sway the trajectory for both currency and equity markets.
Powell says in the Jackson Hole Symposium, if he continues to remain hawkish and if there is one more likelihood of a rate hike, then the rates will, the 10-year bond yield will continue to be high. So this will certainly impact foreign portfolio inflows into India. One thing is very clear, the market valuations are high, it will remain high. Some triggers can bring the market down.
That apart, the yield gap between the US 10-year Treasury note and India's 10-year G-Sec, now at the lowest since 2007, could also prompt foreign capital outflows in favor of dollar-dominated investments, experts note. Some moderation in foreign inflows has already set in. FPI's inflows into the cash markets have been just Rs 7,691 crore so far in August after hitting a 11-month high of Rs 46,618 crore in July. A further slide in the rupee thus remains a crucial risk. As per economists of Bank of Baroda, while a range of 83 to 84 per dollar is reasonable for the next fortnight, more devaluation is possible on high crude prices. Although in the medium to long term, currency experts believe the rupee will pull back from current lows given the favorable domestic macros. Today, on August 24, Dalal Street will react to the latest monetary policy minutes of the RBI.
He's making plans for an early retirement. Business Standard.
The government, meanwhile, said that the fluctuation in currency rate is not exclusive to the Indian currency, and that the RBI's inflation control measures will factor in this volatility. In another development, the government recently launched India's own car safety assessment system called Bharat NCAP. Raghav Agarwal has more on it.
The Bharat NCAP is a safety assessment initiative introduced by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. It will evaluate the safety performance of passenger vehicles in India that weigh less than 3.5 tons and can accommodate up to 8 passengers. The norms under the program will roll out from October 1st. It is designed to align India's safety standards with countries like the USA, Australia, Japan, and the UK. However, it is still not mandatory for the companies to get a rating under Bharat NCAP. The rating will be given based on a series of crash tests. A frontal crash test will be conducted at a speed of 64 km per hour. Side test will occur at 50 km per hour and pole side test will occur at 20 km per hour. The ratings are assigned based on 2 criteria: adult safety for front passengers and child safety at the rear. For adult safety, a car needs to score a minimum of 27 out of a maximum of 32 points to achieve a 5-star rating. A 5-star rating for child safety is granted to vehicles scoring at least 41 out of 49 points. Under the B NCAP, manufacturers or importers of motor vehicles will have to apply for Form 70A to the agency designated by the central government. The designated agency will get their motor vehicle star rated in accordance with the Automotive Industry Standard AIS 197, as amended from time to time. The vehicle star rating shall be uploaded on the designated portal by the designated agency, it said, adding the B NCAP shall be a voluntary program. During the launch of Bharat NCAP, Union Transport Minister Gadkari said that every year around 5 lakh accidents and 1,50,000 deaths take place in India due to road accidents. He added that Bharat NCAP is India's own crash testing program which aims to improve safety features in vehicles. Gadkari added that Bharat NCAP will prove to be a critical instrument in making our automotive industry Atmanirbhar with the mission of making India the #1 automobile hub in the world. He also said that the cost of safety testing abroad is 2.50 crore rupees, while in India it is 60 lakh rupees.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.
The country's largest car maker Maruti has offered its 3 models for the first lot of a safety testing. They are Baleno, Brezza and Grand Vitara. Well, that's all for today. For more news and analysis, please log in to business-standard.com. Thank you for watching.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.